Hi there. I'm glad you could join me again today. I would love to carry on my discussion on portals that I left off last time. Remember, I talked to you about clearing yourself and clearing the area or the studio that you're working in, clearing the instruments that you're going to work with. Now, once you've got your piece of wood, I talked to you about listening to the piece of wood and finding out if it wants to be a particular shape. Because sometimes the wood sort of directs you to have a particular shape. I can best illustrate it. I've got a previously activated portal here with me that is shaped in the way that the portal wanted to be shaped. I hope you can see it well here. That's what it looks like. That's just one portal shaped into the shape that I believe Presence told me to shape it in. Once it has told you how to shape it, obviously you take your cleared instruments and you shape it the best way you can. If you are not artistic or you feel you don't have the, it doesn't matter. You can still use the piece of wood. You don't have to absolutely shape it, but I find that sometimes it works better, the energy flows better if you do the shape that the wood has actually, or presence through the wood has told you to shape it in. I've got a few notes here today just to help me along to decide what to speak about further on. Now let me just see here. Okay, that's the shape of the portal, right? Now you want to determine the intention for this portal. But sometimes, like for instance the experiment that I've done on the plant that came alive and became well after I've activated the portal, but I knew what the problem was. I knew that the portal was, not the portal, the fern was busy dying. It only had one leaf. So I knew beforehand what the problem was. But sometimes when you want to solve a problem, the problem might not be so obvious. There might be a relationship, a general story. If you're dealing with, for instance, a relationship problem, you know that there's something wrong in the relation, but you don't exactly know where the problem is. So I would activate that portal first to have the intention of just receiving information. I would instill that into the portal and then take it to the place it in the place where the problem with this, say for instance in a house, in a family, place it in that house and let the portal listen, and it will take in all the information. You leave it there for a few days, you go back, you pick up the portal and you download that information. I would call it like downloading in computer terms. You download the information, it will tell you the problem that was in that house. Because remember, this portal is a receiver and a sender. Initially I didn't want to call it portals, because portals sometimes mean you go into the other dimension and some things can come through from the other dimension and demonic powers can enter this realm, our realm, and all that. But I didn't want it to be so complicated. It is just something going through the intention, data coming back through the portal. Actually the portal itself receives it, but it's as if it's coming through the portal. And then you listen to that portal again and you download the information or the problem that you are looking to solve. Once you know the problem, You then activate, or it's already activated, but you then instill another intention to solve the problem. Say for instance the problem was the teenage child, right? So now you install harmony, love, peace between the parents and, say for instance, and the child, because you know what the problem is. So you instill that into the portal, right? You take the portal, you put it back into that house, and you let it do its work. Now, a lot of people say to me, but why are you using portals? Can't you just go there and solve the problem? Listen with presence, pick up the problem, and then speak. Yes, sometimes you can do that. It's the shortcut. But sometimes the problem is so heavy, the person won't even listen to you. The relationships might be so bad that they don't even want to listen to you. So then I find that if you use a portal and you place the portal there, and everybody has got a sort of an idea why the portal is there, sometimes you don't have to tell it. You can just sneak it into the house. If you don't want the child to know that you are now using an activated portal in the house, you put it somewhere where it's not so obvious, or you can share it and you can put it there and explain why the portal is there and what it's intending to do there. And then the portal will radiate that intention. Depending on the strength of the portal, the person who initially imparted or downloaded the intention into the portal, and how strongly connected and how open a channel he or she was, you can say that the portal is more charged. I don't know how to call it, but to say it, but it's like the portal is more charged up, so it will reach into a wider area of influence, and everybody who comes into that circle of influence will then be influenced, and the portal will work on a subjective, subconscious level on that person or persons in that household. If the person who put the intention onto the portal wasn't so deeply connected to presence while he was doing it, the radius of the influence would be smaller and the battery will run down quicker. As every portal has a lifespan, in the sense that because you're putting it into an area where there's a lot of negative energy, you're putting a positive portal, activated portal with positive energy into that sea of negative, slow, low frequency energy. Eventually it will swamp that portal if it's not strong enough, or even if it is a very strong portal, eventually it will run out, unless the portal has started to change over the situation and the people in the relationship and the problem has started to be resolved. And depending on that, that's why if the battery of the portal, as I call it, which is not really a battery, but if that battery runs out, you need to come back after a few days, pick up the portal and recharge it, re-download the intention into the portal to take it back. And the same pattern repeats itself depending on how strong the negative energy in that house is. If it's very strong, you need to do it so many times as you need to do it. If it wasn't so very strong and the portal succeeded the first time, wonderful. The portal has done its work, and it will change over that. So it will bring that high frequency, positive energy presence into that situation. Let me just consult my notes here again. Okay, that's determining the intention and downloading it. Okay. Now, when you take the portal to the house, you need to determine in what specific location do you need. You can't just put it anywhere. Where the energy will best be released and where the influence will be strongest the strongest and the best. You need to listen to presence again to position that portal. And once you positioned that portal, it is advisable not to change the position or change things closely around, put things in front of the portal or change things around the portal. Don't let the negative people pick up the portal and handle the portal. It somehow contaminates the portal and it changes the frequency and the energy of the portal. So it is very important where you place this portal. Let me just look at my note again here. Okay. So there are precautions when you place the portal. You need to instruct people not to move it from its position, to leave it exactly where it is, not to touch it, and to let it do its work. Only the person, what I would call a reader in a capital letter R, a reader, a person filled with presence, connected to the divine, deals with the portal and handles the portal and places the portal, decides where to put it, what intention, what problem to resolve, how to download the intention. Those things are done by the reader and not by people who are contaminated by this problem and this negativity and this low frequency vibrations in the household. So yes, that is my story for today. I hope you got a bit of more information and a bit of insight in how I deal with portals. I just want to put a small disclaimer. All this information that I give you is not necessarily the truth. I don't pretend that I know it all. I don't pretend that I know everything about a portal and how portals work. I have listened to presence within myself, and I'm imparting the information that I believe that is good to send out there, working through presence inside me and sharing this video with you and the previous videos. So please, if you don't agree with me and you think it's a lot of nonsense and rot, good for you. Don't listen to these videos anymore, or don't believe in what I say. If something in you has been touched by this information, wonderful. Something has been touched and we've got a communication, presence to presence. So that's my little disclaimer for today. So bless you, thank you, I honor you, and I bless you, and thank you for listening today. Bye.